And I guess last but not least, Ellis, our coffee break is at Davis Field, so have some marine coffee on me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I gather it's free.
Yeah, I told him to put it on my account.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joe.
I'm going
I'll
to
return the favour one day.
take off, so witness this.
Yeah, using the extension, I just cleared the trees and the piper.
I was lucky to get out of there.
I'm seeing it as an A320. It's quite amusing.
Oh dear.
Looks like they cleared some more trees there for you. Or you cleared the trees.
I just hit a house.
Where are the trees, right?
Okay.
So our departure airport obviously is a private strip. It's located not too far from the fourth oldest city in North Carolina, which is Beaufort, North Carolina, which was founded in 1713. And just like the previous North Carolina flight we did, this is another popular area for Blackbeard the pirate. And interestingly enough, there are two cities, one in North Carolina and one in South Carolina, spelled the same way and pronounced totally different. Beaufort, South Carolina, and Beaufort, North Carolina.
Yeah, I've always called it Beaufort.
Checking for sound. Loud and clear.
Thanks.
I would love to know how this airfield got its name. Or perhaps I wouldn't.
I'm sure it was probably named by the farmer who owns the place.
Yeah, he looked out his window and named it after the first thing he saw.
Yeah, sounds like his wife.
Oh, now that's marginal.
I don't know what her name was.
Right. As long as there's no ladies in earshot, we're fine.
Yeah, it was a moving name. Utterly delightful.
That's like on about cow jokes, although it's not really a joke because it really happened. You know CJ Lemoyne, the F-16, F-18 pilot that has the YouTube channel? His call sign in the Air Force was Mover. I think in an early training exercise he shot a cow. He mistook it for the target. So for the rest of his career he was known as Mover.
Stakes on him, I guess, right?
Yeah.
How do I turn TCAS off?
Is it a bit busy?
Did we take off already or not yet?
I'm just flying around.
I'm just circling the airfield at the moment.
Dodging the bees, I am.
Yeah, our first airport's a short hop. I think it's bearing, what, 217-ish. I would suggest doing a loop around and making your way out to the past the barrier island just to kind of take in the scenery of Beaufort. Shall we roll?
Yep.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening.
Hey, Joe.
First touch and go, is it 08?
Looks like it.
Yep.
Oh, I'm there already.
I think you can get a sense from the configuration of the runways at Smith. It was also a World War II strip built. There are quite a few in this area that have a very similar configuration.
Good evening, Peter. How's your internet tonight?
It's okay, thanks. It turned out to be the aerial at the back of the computer, or one of them had dropped down instead of sticking up, and my internet speed tanked.
I had exactly the same thing happen a couple of days ago.
And it's the last thing you check, isn't it?
Yeah, I moved the direction of the aerials, and suddenly I had about 300 megabit faster connection.
Oh, in my case, I went down to 1.8.
Oh my word.
I ended up...
He was getting quite crabby too, Jonathan. He was.
I really thought it was BT having problems with the internet, and it wasn't until after I think your flight had finished that I suddenly thought, I wonder about the aerial, and I put my hand behind it. Of course, both aerials are stuck straight down.
You don't have that problem with Ethernet.
So this particular part of North Carolina is referred to with, I guess, two nicknames. One would be the Inner Banks, because these are barrier islands that are closer to the shore than the Outer Banks that we visited earlier. The other nickname for the area is the Crystal Coast.
Do you know how it got that name, Joe?
Color of the water.
Quite heavily populated, Joe, isn't it? Is it, I noticed all the way down this coast it's heavily populated.
Oh, it's quite developed for sure. I think Beaufort was founded in like 1713, so there's been a lot of time, but quite a bit of vacation development.
That looks quite obvious to me, yeah.
We're definitely in the middle of vacation season around these parts.
Well, I'm on live weather. It's looking quite hazy out there. Is that common?
I was saying that, quite foggy in the distance.
Ocean mist.
Yeah. I came and had a look yesterday and it was that bad I actually turned live weather off so I could see the scenery more clearly.
Yeah, this is also the time of year where we get afternoon and evening thunderstorms really bad. Once you've done your touch and go at Smith, then our next destination is Circle P Farm, which was also on the flight plan from last time as well.
Can someone remind me how to turn labels on?
You have to make a key binding for it usually, but it's in the traffic settings in general.
Thanks.
But yeah, if you search for nameplates in the keyboard configuration, you can put a key on it.
Looks like runway 22.
Roger.
So if anybody notices me going off the front of the pack quite often this evening, it's because I'm in a real slowpoke aeroplane that just about does 100 flat out. So I'll have no doubt you'll all come sweeping past me.
What are you flying, John?
The Vilga. It's like an engine tow device with some stubby wings.
Bouncy, bouncy.
It's fun.
I'm sure it's faster than the trimotor, John.
Marginally, maybe.
Well, I have managed to hit the 80% mark on the British Isles tour in the trimotor.
Very cool.
At this point, it's turned into personal determination to make it all the way through to the end.
It's worth it, Joe. You get a certificate, mate.
Yeah, I'm looking for a Ford sticker or something, you know.
They're not that generous. You have to talk to Jonathan.
We can make up awards.
You'll have to print bumper stickers.
I keep thinking about setting up merchandise, but it's actually quite difficult to get something that will work for everybody all over the world easily. I think we're going to end up having a couple of different stores with things in, like t-shirts and caps and whatever. Maybe have one in Europe, one in the US.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks who use, what, Teespring for some of their merch?
I think the first one we're going to make is a t-shirt saying I forgot to turn on ACARS or something like that.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, that's my logo, that's for sure.
I thought you were going to do the Not a Real Pilot shirt, Jonathan.
Yes, and that.
Was that old Dickie Smothers?
My grandsons gave me a cap. It says pilot in training. Not really. They gave it to me when I first got the sim. It's got a little parachute on the badge. They'll try and tell me something.
It's better than an ejector seat.
Yeah, with live weather on today, it is quite hazy.
Yeah, I turned off 10 minutes ago, Joe. At least I'm enjoying the view.
So
Now I've got my Xbox controller sorted. I can jump outside the plane and go visit places. Great.
Yeah, I've just invested in one of those too. It's wonderful, isn't it?
I've got to do some more work in it and get in there and clean out some of the bindings so it doesn't interfere with your normal flying if you inadvertently hit a button that you haven't cleared the bindings of.
Yeah, I removed absolutely everything except the drone.
Yeah, you need to, eh?
Yeah, it worked quite well. I followed that video guide and it worked quite well.
There's a couple of key bindings I'd like to add to it. I'll figure those out eventually. We got a grass strip here, guys. Runway 24 next, is it? Gee, I'm getting out in front a bit. I better slow down.
Yeah, I'm going flat out because my flat out is everybody else's slow.
Tuck in behind, see if you can get a slipstream.
Oh, John, you dropped me a mail with your address.
Oh yes,
Because
we're on about radios, weren't we?
Yeah, he disappeared last week.
We had a few dramas going on here last week.
There's a few clears today, wasn't it?
They lost interest towards the end and walked away.
Oh, I do that too.
I was late turning it on, and about 3 seconds after I turned it on, Spain scored.
Well, that was your fault then.
So I turned it off immediately.
I was banned from watching it because whenever I watch anything, the teams start losing, whatever sport it is.
That's what I reckon with me.
Yeah.
So I couldn't watch it from then on.
They were a much, much better team.
Dirty though.
They
Spent too much time lying on the ground.
every team does that. Their individual skills made ours look very, very ordinary. But that's a generational thing. They've had, 2 or 3 generations of little kids have come up, and they've got a national team now. And we're in the middle of losing our talented players because they're getting too old. It's the same with the US.
I think they need a tutorial from Nobby Styles, but I think he's a bit dead, I think.
So I'm over the top of the airfield apparently, but just looking for it.
Yeah, it's right alongside that little forest.
Yeah, some fields with some lakes and that alongside that.
I'm coming back to join the mob.
Yeah, I got it.
Losing real weather really makes a change.
Can't see anything though, Peter.
I know, that's why I just
Yeah, I'm going to go to few clouds to make it look a bit more fun for anybody watching it.
Yeah, that's just what I did as well. Much better.
I've got real weather, and ahead of me is quite a lot of cloud.
Oh yeah, there's the ground.
I could always have a second go. The problem with this RG, it's a bit quick sometimes.
This Camp Davis and Holly Ridge and Topsail Air Park are going to be here quite some time, how close together they are.
When I first started up, I felt I wanted to fly the Beaver, so I came in and I felt like a trout with wings because I kept on spawning in the trees.
Well, trees in these parts of North Carolina we got, so a lot of this area is land managed by Weyerhaeuser, the tree and paper and wood company, so you can see the expanse of the pine
I did smile when someone said the airfield is next to the forest.
That was me. It'd be good if they could make the pine trees look like pine trees though, Joe.
I just wish the pine trees were something else.
Yeah. You get sick of them after a while, eh? We have the same problem down here.
So there's a section of interstate that runs south from our final destination, which is Myrtle Beach today, which runs to Charleston, South Carolina. And it runs through the Francis S. Marion National Forest. Lots of pine trees. Did I mention the pine trees? How about some pine trees?
We have far more than we need. We send them all to China.
Looks like a speedway circuit down there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably a regional track. I don't remember the name of it.
LittleNavMap's not telling.
It likes its secrets.
I don't know how I did it, but the G1000 in this 208, it's showing everybody's traffic in the plane.
Yeah, some of the aircraft do that.
Yeah, it does.
Live in line.
Next stop is coffee stop, isn't it, Joe?
Yes, sir. If you're heading to Camp Davis, yes.
While it's all nice and quiet over the airways, can I just remind everybody that next Sunday we are all flying the same aircraft, the Robin DR400, the Sim's other trainer.
But it's only a four-seater.
We're going to see how we can get in. Well, they do it with post boxes, why not with the Robin?
I was telling the boys yesterday, guys, I'm getting to fly in a real C208 next Friday.
Very cool.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to fly from home up to Auckland. My wife's going up today, which is Monday, and I'm going to go up on Friday so I can go to my grandson's 21st birthday.
Nice.
He's our first grandchild to turn 21, so I suppose we better go and celebrate with him. I won't be consuming the quantities that he does.
I'm afraid age takes its course.
So, Joe, this is Camp Lejeune?
Yes, off to our right, correct.
Weird runway arrangement.
Yeah, this airstrip was built during World War II for training and also for reconnaissance and U-boat attack. Yeah, that might be one thing that might not be readily apparent, is this part of the east coast of the United States was very active during World War II with the German U-boats being determined to disrupt shipping on the North and South Carolina coast. One of the coastal towns that we went past to our left on the way to the second airstrip would have been Morehead City, and it's quite a fisherman's destination. They have the Big Rock Blue Marlin tournament there every year, and they've been doing that since the late 50s. The port's now also getting used at Morehead City by SpaceX, so they have two booster recovery ships that are based out of Morehead City, Mrs. Chief and Ms. Tree.
Okay, that is fascinating to watch it when they land.
I just spotted an arc shape cut out of the trees in the distance. I've just diverted over to it. It's a gunnery range.
Yep. And that's probably active part of Camp Lejeune.
It is,
if I'm guessing, Jonathan.
You best climb a couple of thousand feet.
Yeah, what was that whistling noise?
They're usually active up to about 6,000 feet, those.
Yeah, what are those pretty white things that keep flying by my my cockpit window?
I see a bridge to fly under.
That's why they built them, isn't it?
You'll get an email.
There's a number for you to call.
Oh, apparently that new ATC thing is going to have that in it. I don't know if anybody's seen it yet. Is it called Beyond ATC?
The one that just put a YouTube video out on, Jonathan.
Yeah, the one that uses AI.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, in one of the trailers, the guy's not following procedure correctly at an airport, and they give him a number to call.
I love it.
What are they going to do? Take away your sticker?
Did anybody see the trailer for the Dash 7?
No.
There's one on YouTube. It's not very long by the makers. It's not finished yet, but they've put some shots up.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, SimWorks handed it over to pilots or something like that.
Yeah, I assume we've all heard of the Geordie version of AI.
Go on then.
Well, it's YI, isn't it?
I thought it was A-up.
That's Yorkshire.
That's the Yorkshire version.
It's northern, it's all the same.
Ooh.
As long as it's not a Keithel.
That was the goodies, wasn't it?
Yeah, showing my age.
The ancient northern sport of Eki Thump.
I tell you what,
Everybody's showing their age.
yeah, I was just going to say, it's amazing watching the shadows of the aircraft on the trees. It's just stupid.
Was anybody flying around this morning in the great outage?
Is that what happened?
Yes,
Yeah, I was here.
Yeah, it was. It makes you appreciate what you got now, doesn't it?
Because when it came back on, my what you call it, photogrammetry was turned off.
Yeah, I had that. I thought it was my computer going up the wall. I didn't realise it was everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a worldwide outage, pal.
Somebody pulled the plug out by accident, didn't they?
Tripped over the cable.
Yeah, or the cleaner that they were in.
Alright.
One good side effect, though, was no stuttering.
Anybody know why we use the Southeast Asia server? Because my ping on that is terrible. Is that the only one that's got anyone on it?
In the early days of Flight Sim, the number of people in the air nearby was quite low, you know, that the system would allow. So it paid to be on a server that not many other people were using.
Or even if you've got a 250 millisecond ping.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, we keep talking about maybe trying a different server, you know, just to see if it does make any difference anymore. I suspect it doesn't anymore.
Sorry, are we landing at 19 or 23?
23, I think. I think that's what it says. 22.
23.
Any advance on 23?
22, 23, whatever it takes.
Yeah, I won't make 22. I'll have to do about 1/4 to.
I'm gonna hopefully land on the ground.
I only go 23. It's closest to the coffee shop.
If I remember correctly, I think runway 22 was the one that is not active anymore.
Well, it's going to be fairly active now.
There'll be a number for us to call.
So I was reading about this Beyond ATC thing. They think it could be curtains for VATSIM if it turns out to be much of a success.
I don't really think so.
This is the dangerous thing, though, because the voices will be very close to human. Because there's been huge strides made with that over the last couple of years.
They won't sound like a robot, you mean, Jonathan?
No, you'll be hard pressed. Depending on what technology they're using to do it. We've been playing with them at work for reading out scripts and stuff, for tutorials and things. They take breaths between words and everything. It's amazing.
Do the curse and swear in the background when they're recording any ATIS as well?
Yeah, the bit I saw, I believe the ATIS does sound like a robot, like it does in real life.
Yeah, they put extra effort into that.
Is it going to stutter at the same time as the sim?
I guess the more difficult thing for them to solve is to do multiplayer with it, where you have to wait your turn to talk to ATC.
That's what brings Battleship to life, really, that side of it.
Yeah, sat waiting for half an hour.
They want to make it really realistic. They'll just tell it to deny every request for a Class D transit. Then no one would know it from the real thing.
Or after planning all afternoon to do a flight, you just get, you know, clearance, get into the air, and then the controller clears off.
Or like Southend, you know, just shut down for a couple of hours in the morning and a couple of hours in the afternoon.
And the French version just goes on strike.
I'd just get up and fly. I don't like being told what to do.
We have visuals on the airfield.
I'm on final, about to touchdown.
ATC is just a serving suggestion, you know what I mean?
Would you like flat white or cappuccino, Jonathan, or do you drink tea?
I usually drink coffee, but I'm kind of immune to caffeine now after years and years of using it. Did we say we're going in on 22? 23, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I landed on.
Yeah, sorry about the spacing between these airstrips, folks. It was a bit odd.
Oh, you just did it to give us a challenge, Joe.
Yeah, that's it.
It's great, Joe. It's good.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I'm afraid life interrupts. I have to go feed the cat. Back in a minute.
So I was out poking around on LittleNavMap looking for airstrips to hit in eastern North Carolina, and I happened upon Dead Cow Field. It's like, what the heck is this? So,
Yeah, great name. It's a bit strange how they place the runways here, isn't it?
yes, it is very bizarre. But again, some of these are World War II / Korea / Vietnam sort of evolved military installations.
Right, I'm going to get a coffee. Back in a minute.
There's going to be fisticuffs here. Somebody pinched my parking spot.
Ask him to step outside, Peter.
I think I might change airplanes. Now we're at the halfway point. 14 NC. Have a look at the live stream comments.
You know, I have a landing gear to mend.
So, Maga, hi. We've got somebody on the live stream asking questions. I joined the Discord server, but I can't write or talk to other members. There should be some tasks. There's an onboarding process at the top left, I think, of Discord these days. Gives you some immediate tasks to do in terms of interacting. So introduce yourself in the introductions channel, share a screenshot, that kind of thing. It gives you guidance at the top left. What should we use for the remainder of the flight? Maybe we'll turn the accurate aircraft on as well.
For the next 2 airports, Jonathan, you could get one of the automobiles and drive between them.
That would be funny, wouldn't it? How about
if I was flying the tri-motor, you could borrow the truck.
14 NC.
It's the first real time I've used the drone camera, as I've just got this Xbox controller. It brings a whole new dimension to the game.
It does. If nothing else, it means you can fly through the interior of the aircraft where you can't get to their interior.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You can just go and look at everything around the airport. It's brilliant.
The only problem I find is that you can't set the speed of the drone camera. So someone's got an open microphone that's echoing everything I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I've got my 2 buttons set to speed up, speed down on the controller, and that works quite well.
Okay, let's absolutely obliterate the sim and go into traffic and let it have the
So this airstrip that we're sitting on was built in December of 1940, and one of its original uses, it was used as an anti-aircraft artillery training facility. So they had folks that would be towing targets, you know, across the range. And they were using women's Air Force service pilots to tow targets, and unfortunately several of them were killed in incidents here. This was also used as a detention facility for about 600 German prisoners of war in 1944. And some of those would have been survivors from U-boat 352, which was sunk probably 15 or 20 miles to the north of here by actually a U.S. Coast Guard cutter.
That's the one that's in a park in Chicago, right?
No, I think U-352 is still sitting at the bottom of the Atlantic.
That's right. I was thinking of the one they captured.
This one didn't make it. It was a goner. It was depth charged and then shelled.
To the DC-3 right behind me, your battery is still attached to the outside.
That would explain a lot.
Stop dragging my car around.
It was that thumping sound. Bump, 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 bump.
That's interesting because I have disconnected ground power.
It's definitely still there in my view.
I understand there's a recent hiccup in the module, and it keeps showing the ground power connected.
Yeah, it's doing that to me now. And it's dragging it on the floor.
It's when you get in the air and you're dragging it alongside you.
Jonathan, you had that camping app, didn't you? At
Yes.
one stage?
Yeah, I've still got it.
Oh, I just see. Of course, I don't have the Wigger. It's I've got you as a DC3 just looking at it. This is probably a stupid question. Did it show up if you landed up the field with other people, and did they see it?
They won't see it.
They won't. I didn't think they would. I thought I'd just check, because I thought otherwise it would look rather good at next week's break, because we're going on a beach. If we could all have tents and campfires, you know, during the break.
I'm not sure if other people have got the add-on as well. If you'll see their tents, that might be different. I'm not sure. Worth having a look at that.
It's funny you should ask that question, Peter, because I have literally just got my seat out and my cool box out while we're waiting and taking a break, and I did wonder whether or not other people could see it. I'm in one of the Cessna 182 RGs at the front of where the parking is there. I've got a seat and a cool box under the wing.
I just thought it would look rather cool if it did, you know, that we all could see it, if you had the app, obviously. While we're parked on the beach, it would look rather fun, you know, for everybody to make campfire.
It's payware, isn't it, Jonathan?
Yep. Parallel 42 make it. You can buy it from Morbex. It's not very expensive.
It's very good, actually, Jonathan. I got it based on your review and have used it for some kind of small bush tours and that type of thing. It's quite cool when you're flying somewhere and then set up camp for the evening, shall we say.
Yep.
Do you go to bed and then come back in the morning? Put the fire out?
I wouldn't dare. I was going to make a comment about bushfires, but I think that would be a little bit insensitive. So I always put the fire out. Ellis, always put the fire out. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of us parked up here this morning. I can't see that DC3, do you know that? I can't see him.
That's
and
strange.
yet I've got it.
Yeah, I've just used the stock livery as well.
Oh, did you change aircraft, Jonathan?
Yeah, I changed to the DC3. I went out of the sim and came back in.
I didn't see it as a DC3.
Yeah, I saw you, okay.
King Air, you are speeding and you're going to get a fine.
Please call 704. You know, one of the things that I'm testing out today is I did download the model matching, the M3, I guess, from flightsim.to, and I've got it configured, and it has made a difference. I don't have any Airbus A320s, and it's a little bit more realistic, I think.
Is it easy to set up?
I have installed the add-on, but I still saw those Airbuses.
Let's put it this way: it's a labor of love doing a config. I had to take 3 seatings to chow my way through it.
Yeah.
How many coffees later?
Yeah, several. But at least I'm not seeing a Hawk as an Airbus. I configured it so that it's an F-18. So again, not not 100% accurate, but it certainly gives you the ability to put the aircraft in a family that it belongs to.
Well, it was actually,
Sounds good.
it was a Hawk. I saw it as an Airbus, so you have to take a good look at it.
Yeah, but a lot of guys fly with us that don't use Discord. I wonder why. They don't speak our lingo, or
May not have a microphone.
Yep. I'd be too inquisitive, Jonathan. I'd rush out and buy one.
I've got a strange thing going on here. I'm flying one of the Just Flight Piper Arrow 3 or 4, and it's puffing smoke every now and then.
I had an update today, didn't it?
Is it 21?
There you go. It's very strange.
All three of the Pipers, the Warrior and the Turbo, they all had updates.
In fact, it looks more like dust when it, when you take off from a grass field. It looks like the dust you leave behind, but I'm doing it in midair. Very peculiar.
Your tag just went across the sky in front of me, Jonathan, and it says you're in a DC-3, but I didn't see the actual plane when you were on the ground. Maybe I wasn't looking in the right place.
Maybe he's cloaked.
Yeah. Get in the air.
Hardly worth putting the undercarriage up.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to need a relief pilot for these next 2 legs. They're brutal.
Getting the
One
tree
of the
tops
reasons
and
why I suggested everybody doing a left-hand circuit is since these airstrips are so close together.
I wasn't paying attention, I just overflew the airfield.
Left hand is the default circuit because the pilot sits on the left.
I'm going to go straight in on 2-2 anyway.
On Desmond.
You're running with Scissors Ellis.
If I can find the strip, that is. Probably that little green patch in front of me up here. Yeah, that's it, I think.
So this beats that one up from the Orkneys between the 2 islands.
Go left-hand runway. That'll do me.
I'm not sure that I mentioned this either before or during the break, but this airstrip is still being used by the Marine Corps for helicopter training.
Which one, Joe? The Holy Ridge one or the other one?
Or coffee stop.
Oh, the cop. Oh, okay. I was going to say there's not much at the other two.
No, those are touristy. You know, let's get to the beach in a hurry kind of landing strips.
Yeah.
Good evening, gentlemen. This is Nikos. I just caught up with you because I had some problems, technical problems starting up. So I'm with you.
Cool.
Good evening.
Which runway are we landing at Molly, what is this? Molly Ridge?
32.
32, copy.
There's a couple of pylons off the end of the runway, David. Watch out. One either side. Fly right between them. Look at that. Well done.
845 com check.
Yes, we can hear you.
There's power lines on the western end of that airstrip.
That's what I was talking about.
For those interested, live weather's also cleared up now. There's no haze at all.
So one of the things that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has done, particularly on the North and the South Carolina coast, is invested a ton of money into building what's called the Intracoastal Waterway. So you'll notice, you know, if you go out toward the beach and fly down, you know, parallel, you're going to see clear paths for shipping to be able to traverse.
How much of that is natural, Joe, or did they actually dig it out?
But quite a bit of it is natural, but I mean, obviously there's some. If you take a glance toward the horizon, you'll see some what I'll call relatively straight shots where it's obvious where they've done dredging.
Yeah, and even in the natural ones, they apply dredge because it's very shallow water around there. They need the channel to get the ships through.
Yep. Lots of interesting places to grab food down along the Intracoastal Waterway if you're fortunate enough to float on a boat.
Is that part of the Grand Loop?
I'm not sure, Peter.
Yeah, I think that goes up around the East Coast and then up through the St. Lawrence Canal area, through the Great Lakes, and I forgot which rivers come back downstream through central U.S.
Yes, I was trying to remember just how close it was to the area or not.
Yeah, if I had the boat and the money for the fuel, that'd be an interesting trip to take.
Our next leg is 228 bearing to Brunswick, KSUT.
That's interesting, Jonathan. You just flew by me and you don't look like a DC-3. Why?
No idea.
It's to me.
Could be a livery thing.
Nope, I've got stock livery.
It's a DC-3 because I'm behind you, Jonathan. I can see it quite clearly.
I wonder if I've got the DC-3 in my hangar in a different livery is causing the problem.
Well, I think the stock ones are baked in.
Yeah, I know. The fact that I've got a non-stock livery selected, I don't see you as a DC-3. I'd have to. I wonder if that's the problem. I'll have a look after and let you know. I'm not going to stop and look now.
That's strange. I'm flying low along this beach and I can hear the water lapping, waves. That's over the top of the engine noise.
No, that's correct.
You didn't hear the tap on when you made the coffee?
No, this is whoosh, whoosh. As each wave breaks.
What's your altitude, though?
About 10 foot. I'm in a Grand Caravan. I changed to a Grand Caravan.
Yeah, I see that. I'm coming down to have a look too, to see whether I get the same effect.
It's quite novel. Oh, seagulls there.
It's quite impressive seeing the DC-3 up in the air, isn't it? You can even see the tail wheel.
No, I can't hear the waves. My engine must be too noisy.
Got your throttle. That's from outside. You need to be outside.
In this particular section we're flying over, you can clearly see the Intracoastal Waterway to the right.
Well, I can't hear much, Dave, at 400 knots with the engine on idle.
You sure you can't hear a whistling sound?
No, I haven't put the kettle on.
You can stick your head out the window.
Let's sting a bit.
What plane are you in, David?
Grand Caravan.
Oh, we're in the RG, so maybe it's because you're in the caravan and we're not.
We're too noisy, Peter.
Yeah, but I tell you what, I'm not going to dip my wheels in this. I learnt my lesson last time.
Dip your wing. I'll just try. I can't hear it from inside the plane, but sat at the tail of it, I can hear it.
And the RG, outside the RG rather, all you can hear is the engine. Beautiful as it is.
Can't hear it at 200 knots.
Something funny, Jonathan, I can see you as a DC-3, but you're going slower than a biplane.
I'm not going very fast. Doing 120.
Yeah. I've got the 1935 add-on installed.
Right.
So basically, anything I haven't got a plane for, instead of showing the Asobo A320s, it changes to a 1935 version of the aircraft that Red Wing made.
Right.
So pretty much everyone's got a biplane.
Brilliant. I was just trying to remind myself how the gyro pilot works in the DC-3. I can't figure out the elevator control to save my life at the moment. So I'm just going to persevere and fly it by hand.
Somebody by the name of Mr. Beckett did a very good tutorial on that, Jonathan.
I know, and he's got a shockingly bad memory.
Isn't there a master autopilot down near the floor?
No, there's on the gyro pilot, the power's at the bottom right of it, and the rudder is easy enough. But I can't remember how you control the pitch trim. It doesn't matter.
Don't you just set the altitude?
No.
I think it's the knob on the far right, Jonathan.
Yeah, I just tried it. I couldn't get it to move. I won't worry about it now, otherwise I'll spend the rest of the flight messing around with it.
Or use a keyboard shortcut, maybe.
Yeah, it probably does respond to the autopilot keys, doesn't it?
Yeah, it should.
What's the landing runway at Brunswick?
Three.
Straight in, David, nice and easy.
So somebody called 845 Sim is in the Discord chat waiting for, and the word is obscured by an icon on the YouTube thing, which is a rubbish user interface design. He's waiting for the chance to talk. Have we maxed out? No, there's no maximum, is there, on Discord voice channels?
I was just waiting for the OK.
MSC container ship have just flown over.
You don't need permission to talk, whoever you are. If there's a silence on the radio, speak.
They may not be aware. Yeah, they may not be aware you have to set up push to talk, but I think Discord guides you through that anyway, does it?
I did have push to talk set up, but then I realised it was set to reverse thrust, which got quite interesting quickly.
That's good.
That's not going to help.
I like that.
Hold my beer.
That's
His
cool.
idea.
Right.
Sitting has been the DC6, I thought it best to change it.
My daughter used to fly doing the My Air ATC flights, and she always had. This was back in the days of FSX, and what was the software we used to see each other? I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, she unwittingly, she kept losing control of her 737 every week, and I went and sat with her and watched what was going on, and her push to talk key was the aileron trim. So the longer she spoke, the worse she went out of control.
I remember that.
You'd hear her respond back to air traffic control repeating the instruction, and then hear at the end, "What the hell?"
But you call up the help desk, did you, Jonathan?
It was a weird one. It took me ages to figure out what was going on.
Easily done.
Every time I ask my son, he calls me a dumb old fool. He comes along and solves the problem in about 30 seconds.
Was it FS host? I can't remember.
Join FS. It's just come back to me.
Yeah.
I think FS host was the predecessor of Join FS. Or a predecessor.
Are they all predecessors of Discord, were they, Jonathan?
No, Join FS allowed you to... It was a bit like Transmitter, but it went a step further. It actually shared your aircraft as an AI aircraft to other people that were also running it.
You could watch other people from their tailplane.
So if you imagine back in the days with FSX, there was no multiplayer built in, or not a very good multiplayer built into it. So as long as you were running Join FS in the background, you would hook up to the Join FS server, and everybody that was on the same server as each other could potentially see each other in the sim as AI aircraft. You know, it injected each other into each other's sim for you. But the nice thing about it was it worked with X-Plane as well. So you could get people in flight sim flying with people in X-Plane in the same session. Unfortunately, it was incredibly unreliable.
That multiplayer, I thought that wasn't actually too bad in Microsoft. I really enjoyed that, and I think that's really would revolutionise this, because there's one thing you can't do is get people into the game, into the sport, you know, with unless you can fly with them in the cockpit and show them where all the controls are, and let them act as a co-pilot for a while.
That was honestly something I was good at. Yeah.
I know they've said that it's technically it's not worth working on because it's darn near impossible, but Microsoft did have it. The only problem with it was that if you wanted to fly with someone and you sort of flew with a complete stranger, you might end up with some troll who just kept flicking switches, and trying to make you crash. So that was a shame, but really that's the multiplayer in terms of shared cockpit, I think is really what would be a massive addition to this sort of experience.
There is one, isn't there, for Flight Sim called Your Controls, but it's a bit flaky. I don't know if you've seen
you're talking about somebody flicking the switches. I've got one of those. His name's Tobii.
Is that your grandson? But there is an add-on for Flight Sim called Your Controls, where as long as you're both running it and you've got the same aircraft kitted out the same as each other, if one of you flicks the switch, it flicks for both of you. So you can do pilot and co-pilot.
That would be quite interesting to see.
It works. When it works really nicely, but I think it's a little bit flaky.
I think for those starting in airliners, that would be a real big help, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think just sharing the cockpit in the airliners is helpful as well.
So the major body of water that we just flew over to the right side of the coast is the Cape Fear River, which runs up to the city of Wilmington, and there is a major shipping port here.
How did you pronounce that, Joe? Wilmington.
Wilmington.
Wilmington, yeah, that's what I thought it was. My sister-in-law's brother lived there for a while.
And one of the things that they have preserved in Wilmington is actually the battleship USS North Carolina from World War II.
So it's a museum?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, one of the cool things they do for the North Carolina and then also for the USS Yorktown and Charleston is you can overnight camp either on the battleship or on the aircraft carrier. It's quite an experience.
Can you land on the carrier?
Must be difficult. Put your tent pegs in.
I hope we get officers' quarters.
Pattern's full.
Which was the Second World War battleship that was refitted just in time to take part in Desert Storm?
The Iowa, I think.
The Iowa?
I'm not sure. It may have been, yeah.
Yeah, Iowa.
Because it actually fired, didn't it, off the coast? It fired at positions. It was the first time a battleship of its kind had seen active use for decades.
Yeah, they were firing cruise missiles off of it, were they not?
Yeah, no, but they actually used shells as well.
Weren't they using a Predator drone to range in the target?
Something like that. There's documentaries on YouTube, aren't there?
And people eventually became associated the Predator drone flying over with shells coming behind pretty soon.
From 20 miles out in the ocean.
Yeah, and they had camera footage of people like waving white shirts and stuff. Basically, they're surrendering to a drone with a lawnmower engine because they knew what was going to happen.
The shell the size of a small bus coming right at you.
Yep. Okay, let's turn the head tracking on.
So one of the cool things about this particular part of the beach, Oak Island, is actually this is a major nesting area for loggerhead turtles.
Are we supposed to be stopping here?
Yep, touch and go.
I just wonder why all the
Peter, you didn't. Did you not update the flight plan, Peter? Because Joe added another airfield the other day.
Yep, no, I updated because Joe reminded me yesterday while I was still able to communicate. I just wonder why all aircraft were stopping, that was all.
Oh yeah, it's the last one on my flight plan.
Yeah, I didn't update it either.
You didn't update it. We're going down to Myrtle Beach, so come on, catch up.
Kilo Mike Yankee Romeo is the last stop.
Yep, And we got ILS on 111.10.
Now stop the engines.
Control E.
This actually is where my wife and I go on holiday.
Now that would you call echo. Somebody turn your mic off, please.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, are you a monkey? Was it Mike in the Monkeys, was it?
Mike Nesbitt.
Yep, Mike.
I thought so, yeah.
That was in the pub quiz we did the other week, asking the names of the members of the Monkeys. And we got them all.
Monkey 1, Monkey 2.
The joke around the table was we were just the right age to have seen the Monkeys on TV during the summer holidays from school, because it was cheap TV that they could just put on repeat endlessly.
Yep. And why don't you? Oh.
Hey!
Correction, that ILS frequency is 111.90, not 10.
Yeah, when we were kids, we lived on a diet in the summer holidays of the Monkeys, Champion the Wonder Horse, and various black and white versions of Superman.
And Flash Gordon.
And Zorro.
Mr. Ed.
And of course the Lassie movies.
Oh yeah.
Woof woof woof, roughly. So go on.
Don't forget Flipper.
Yeah.
Oh, my little sister used to watch, I think it was called The White Horses.
It's the never-ending joke. Sorry, go on.
Jonathan, did you get Skippy the kangaroo over there?
We did, but not very often. The one that I can always remember from when I was little, and I don't think it was on for very long, there was a helicopter show called Chopper Squad about an Australian rescue team. If you look it up on YouTube, I think it only ran for like 2 seasons, even in Australia, and then it got canned.
I remember that one, Jonathan, but it wasn't Apache and Airwolf, was it?
No, it wasn't.
There was a series based on French fighter pilots as well in the summer holidays.
I don't remember that one.
You're supposed to be outside playing cricket. or tennis or doing something. Go surfing. Shouldn't be watching TV.
There was a series for kids, I think it was for kids, who used a Bell 47. What was that then?
Whirlybirds, yeah.
Whirlybirds, yeah.
I never realised till recently the little kid that was in Gentle Ben is, oh crikey, what's his name? Ron Howard's brother.
Clem.
And he's been in no end of Star Trek movies and TV shows over the years, with various disguises and makeup and prosthetics and.
Well, his brother sticks him in every film, doesn't he?
What was he? Klingon.
He's been in. It's like one of these repeating characters that keeps coming back, or in various different alien races and things. He's quite the character actor.
Yeah, he just showed up in an episode of the Strange New Worlds.
Yes. Yeah, we've just started watching that at home. We've just done the first season. So we're playing catch up at the moment.
It's quite good, isn't it?
No, it's brilliant.
Yeah. I was saying to my other half, it's probably my favourite since the original series years ago that I grew up with.
Here, here.
It's very much like it.
Sorry, go on, Justin.
I was going to say it's very much like it. You know, it's very similar to the original series.
I was just wondering, because they're gradually introducing all the characters from the original series, if that when they sort of finish this one up when it's done 7 seasons, they can then start up with Star Trek with Kirk and the whole band in again, because they'll have already got everybody used to the characters.
Yes.
I think that's the plan, actually.
But they'll just remake the original series again.
without
Yeah, they could.
quartets.
They could skip a couple of episodes, you know, and the children shall lead, Spock's brain.
Oh, come on, that was a classic, really. Come on now.
The trouble with triples.
Well, that's true. even the bad ones have redeeming qualities. This is true.
Hey, easy now on the tribble. I've got one.
Whatever you do,
Well, don't feed it.
The best Star Trek episode, not Star Trek, sorry, I got it wrong. The Enterprise then with Kirk was with Joan Collins.
Oh, the one where he went back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was hot.
well, that taught me that the world is better off without John Collins.
No. I got a photograph of her at Cannes one year.
So here's another piece of local trivia for you folks. Brunswick Island, the airstrip that we just did the last touch and go, this particular beach was actually wiped clean in 1954 by Hurricane Hazel. It killed about 20 people. There was about a 20-foot storm surge. It was a Category 4 hurricane. But it basically destroyed everything on the island except for 4 buildings.
Oh my word.
There's actually a high tide marker on the bridge coming over into this island that marks the high tide mark for Hazel. It's quite scary.
When did that happen, Joe?
1954.
Global warming's been going on for a while.
Blow boil.
1954, there was a storm like that in Linton in Devon, and it wiped the village out, washed them all out to sea.
'53 was a great storm in the Thames Estuary and flooded Canby Island, and went right up to the steps of a pub, which they renamed the King Canute.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That was the storm that led to them building all the sea defences all around the Thames Estuary and eventually to the Thames Barrier. Because they were worried that if the same thing happened again, it would breach the London's sea defences.
It led to the formation of RANET as well, the Radio Omnibus Emergency Network.
I was listening about that on a podcast recently. That's kind of what got me interested in ham radio and kind of reading up on it. Because they want about, these major disasters, the emergency services always turn to the ham radio people first.
You read about Lockerbie. Actually, I might send you the report. I'll scan it and send you it. But essentially, what RANET did in 4 hours, it took the police a week to replicate. But of course, comms is what we do. It's not what the police do.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were on about transmitting data over radio, and that's kind of becoming much more common now.
Well, we were doing that with the ZX81.
Yes.
Yeah, so we used to, no doubt you did as well, John, sit on the end of the bed and type programs in from the computer magazines.
Yep.
3 weeks and then they never worked.
Syntax error. No line number, no nothing, just syntax error.
Yeah, well, me and my mate used to type in half the program each and then transfer the other half. So we took the audio from the cassette interface and piped it out through the radio.
never understood how they got those wrong, because they cut and pasted the page. They dot matrix printed the program out, cut and pasted it into the magazine, and then you typed it all in, and it didn't work. And then next month they'd have a page of corrections, and then the month after that they'd have a page of corrections to the corrections. Well, they didn't just check the program worked before they printed it. I don't know.
The wafer thin margins that published magazines or printed magazines ran on. That's the reason why.
Plus, you learn more doing all the troubleshooting. Certainly, I did anyway.
Yeah, it made you buy the next issue.
It's always a bit soul destroying though. You see some artwork in the magazine of like a, I don't know, Alberto Tomba going down a hillside with the trees rushing past, and you spend 2 hours typing in 60 lines of code, and you end up with a smashed spider stuttering down the screen.
Those magazines only had like 1 or 2 people working full time on them, and everybody else was just contributors.
I can't knock it because one of those helped me get my O-level in computer studies. I did cheat. Yes, of course I wrote the program. I don't think back in those days you had anybody checking you were doing that sort of thing.
That was an old trick though. They made the splash screen far better than the game itself was to tempt you, and also as you say, the artwork on the cassette or the disc or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey Dave, you and I wouldn't have had.
Like it.
We never had computer studies when I went to school. They didn't even know what a computer was.
They didn't have cassettes when I went to school.
We were using Commodore PETs.
Luxury.
On about old computer systems, I think this subject's come up before, but there's a series of videos on YouTube about the reverse engineering and restoration of one of the last surviving Apollo guidance computers.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's absolutely brilliant. The whole series of videos where they're kind of figuring out how it works, and some of the retired engineers helped them do it. But it's a university team that did it. It's absolutely fascinating.
See, at the end they used I forget what program it is. I think it's called Orbiter.
Yeah, and they plugged it into it. Yeah.
And yeah, they plugged it into it, and they ran the program because you could still get the source code.
Yep.
And they ran it, and the guy landed like 3 times.
So yeah, just to explain to the others what this is all about, there's an accurate Apollo emulator called Orbiter, or a spaceship emulator called Orbiter, and it has a module for it, an enormous module that many people worked on for years, that simulated Apollo down to the circuit boards of the computers, you know, the emulation of the components. But it's all software emulation. And so, but because it absolutely, you know, faithfully simulates the internals of the avionics of the Apollo, or the guidance systems of the Apollo modules, they got the real guidance computer, connected it up to the orbiter simulator, and it worked first time.
Sounds interesting.
It was absolutely stunning.
Some amazement.
Well, it was their best way of proving that the guidance computer was actually working.
What's the title again?
We could have a crosswind in Myrtle Beach.
The wind's changed. We're now runway 18 and the ILS frequency is 109.50.
Roger.
If you want to have one ILS approach on the flight today.
So this last airport used to be Myrtle Beach Air Force Base, and when I was a wee lad, there was a couple of squadrons of F-4 Phantoms that operated out of the airbase. And then when they retired the F-4 Phantoms, there were a number of A-10 squadrons that were based out of Myrtle Beach Air Force Base until they really pivoted to civilian use.
I wonder what a civilian would use an A10 for.
I guess one depleted uranium bullet would put an end to a neighborhood dispute, wouldn't it?
Certainly one way to get rid of road rage.
Yeah, party mix is quite good as well.
Yeah, I got the A10 a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't flown it yet, but it's always looked an interesting aeroplane to me.
The fact it slows down when it fires the cannon.
Oh, is that the Warthog?
Okay.
Yep.
Yep, I think it is. It's got those two big turbo fans on the back, isn't it?
Yep.
It makes a beautiful sound. It goes brrr.
I actually witnessed a firepower demonstration up in Thailand when they had the 105s up there. And when they fired that Gatling gun, man, oh man, I saw it just was a brrr, and they spent a week putting a building up for the demonstration. It took 5 seconds or even less than that to demolish the thing to a pile of matchsticks.
It's tank buster, isn't it?
Yeah, I went to one of those on Saul's plane when I was an apprentice. They took us. It started off with artillery shooting rifles and ended up with an A10 coming over. Very impressive.
I think they describe it as a gun with a plane built around it.
Yeah.
That's a bit like that C-130 gunship, isn't it? It's just ridiculous. It's like an ammunition shop with wings.
AC stands for arse clapper.
In the early days of the Vietnam War, didn't they use the old DC-3s as gunships?
I'm not sure.
They did, yes.
Yeah.
Spooky?
But they did.
I think one was called Spooky, or is that something else?
No, that's correct, Spooky.
Vietnam War hadn't started when I was up there. They were just warming up for it. Tell you what, it was quite evident that it was coming.
Isn't that one of the conflicts that's never officially ended? I think it's like it's paused, but it hasn't actually. You know, there's a ceasefire or a cease of hostilities.
Isn't that the Korean War?
I can't remember. One of the two. It never actually stopped.
I think technically Russia is still at war with Japan. Technically.
You know, the other gunship that they used in Vietnam was the Douglas AC. Was it the AC-47? Is that Puff the Magic Dragon? Is that what Spooky was?
T-47 is a DC-3, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's what I was thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, that was a Spooky, yeah.
C-47 was the military designation, I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah.
Yes, it was, yeah. So we've got our sea mist coming back.
About 15 miles out, maybe 10 miles out from Myrtle Beach.
Well, I've gone back to live weather, and I'll do an ILS approach. Don't have to worry about it then, do I?
So there's a little sleepy fishing village just to the north of Myrtle Beach called Calabash, North Carolina. Home to, I guess, the cooking style for shrimp. So if you've ever heard of Calabash shrimp, that's where that came from.
Not the same as Boba Gum.
That's right. Shrimp scampi, shrimp and grits. Yeah, Calabash should have the a deep fry basket as the town logo.
Or a defibrillator.
Is it north of North Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, Ellis, it's to the north. It actually sits right on the North and South Carolina state line. This is making me hungry.
Yeah, I found it.
Getting a bit foggy again.
Looks like I should have parked on the other side.
Radio check.
Yes, we can hear you.
We're going that quiet. I thought something was wrong.
No, everyone's concentrating.
Well, the sea fog's so bad I can't see the airfield, and I'm on final on the ILS localizer, and I've captured the glide slope. No, not yet, but coming up.
Glide landing manually.
No, I've got the real world weather turned on, and I don't have a lot of fog.
Yeah, better now.
I'm here as well. Clear skies.
I got all the weight out.
It'll be time difference, I guess, right?
That'll be it, yeah.
You're on live weather? Or live time?
I think so, I'll just check.
Are you burning a lot of oil?
4:49 PM, 8:49 UTC.
I've got 2006 UTC live weather, but it's cloudy, but the visibility's good.
I'm quite pleased with myself. It's the first time I've used the little dangly radio now.
Just picked up the glide slope. Oh, I can see the runway now way in the distance.
Yeah, according to the meta, it's saying scattered clouds. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying.
Maybe it's because I'm a long way away.
Anybody know why some of the models have got the planes sitting on their tails?
They're in tail dragger.
No.
Yeah, you're just not seeing them in tail draggers.
No, oh, I see what you mean. They're in tail draggers with the tri-traveller nose wheels. Yeah, okay, thanks. Got it now.
And the Sim's defaulting them to a Bonanza, and the Bonanza sits like a tail dragger. Looks silly.
Yeah, I got it. Sorry, I had a complete brainstorm when you said that. But I see what you mean now, yeah, thanks.
You either get it one way or the other, don't you? It's either you get a tail dragger that's sitting up on its main wheels, or you get it like that. It never seems to be right.
I think that's more sensible if you're responsible for your own model, and whatever plane you're flying should broadcast its model, you know, should broadcast the data, the wireframe. Then, you know, everything would be properly displayed, wouldn't it?
Back in the early days when Flight Sim first came out, they had some code in it that if somebody was in an aeroplane available from the marketplace, if the sim wasn't too busy doing other things, it would download the model from the marketplace and substitute the plane while you were looking at it. So you could see planes you didn't have. But that code vanished at some point out of the simulator. I imagine it stressed it too much.
I'm a cynic, John, and I think it's a money grab.
You reckon?
Promotional idea.
But it did work for a short time, around about Sim Update 7-ish.
It's probably what
are you grabbing though? Just by looking at other people's planes? You're only looking. It's not like you're flying their planes. You're not really stealing anything just by seeing them, are you?
No, I guess the frustration we had at the beginning is like where you see an A320 with it.
Actually, I'm in the wrong place here, aren't I? Let's go and taxi round.
Anyway, M3 is going to fix all that problem anyway. They need to get a way of publishing profiles for sharing. That's going to be the thing that's going to make that really help.
Technically, for parking, we should all be on the other side, shouldn't we?
I don't know, where are we supposed to go?
With this amount of aircraft, we can go where we like.
Well, LittleNavMap says green is on the other side.
ATC saw this lot coming in and decided to go home anyway, so it's a free airport.
AT service is terminated.
We're all going to get a number to ring for a good time.
Yeah, that's a different phone number.
That's the one from the post box down the road.
Yeah, I think it's Myrtle.
As long as it's a 1-800 number or an 0800 number, whatever system they use. Pre-calling inbound.
That'd be moaning, Myrtle.
Otherwise, I ain't going to ring them.
I think anyone's ever had the nerve to do it the other way around when ATC's made a boo-boo. Tell them to give them a number, so I've got a number for you to ring.
ATC's always right.
Yeah, it's a brave call if you want to get out again afterwards, isn't it? And if you'll hold.
That was nice.
Orbit until advised. Allegedly.
Posted a pic in the Discord chat, guys. This is going to give it.
Tell me, guys, how do you break an addiction to an aircraft?
Is this the Cessna 182 again?
Yeah, I can't leave it alone, Jonathan. I just for these flights that we do, it's just ideal, and I motivate myself to fly something else. I used to be like this with the Caravan, but no, I'm enjoying it.
I'll let you know, Ellis, when I break up with the tri-motor.
You ring 182 Anonymous.
Long as it's an amicable separation, Joe, it's all right.
Right, I'm going to shut the live stream down for the evening. That was good fun.
Was, Joe, thank you very much.
Yeah, well done.
Appreciate that.
Very flat countryside, Joe. Where are the hills?
Thank you, gentlemen. Nice flight.
Can I just remind everybody again that next week we are in the Robin DR4.
You have to go inland a bit to get the hills, don't you?
Yeah, Robin DR4 next week then. Or is it DR400?
400, yeah.
Thanks for a great event, everyone.
Cool. See you soon.
Yep. Thanks all.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, bye.